I wanted to hear Kojima's thoughts on the abandoned crap from the very beginning, because it just didn't make sense. It never made sense. Like, let's just be perfectly honest with this. The whole abandoned craze was insane. Basically, in case you aren't aware of what this was, what happened was that there was a game called Abandoned that was listed on a bunch of websites as an upcoming PlayStation game. They revealed a trailer kind of early on. This is what they showed off. And it is just as terrible as you would imagine. Jesus Christ, that was loud. Blue Box Game Studios, you pull it up. There are so many ads. Jeez, man, I need to get the ad blocker turned on for this browser. What it is, though, it's known as an asset flip. Basically, what they did is they went into Unreal Engine. They pulled a bunch of videos from or a bunch of assets from the Unreal store or whatever they call it, and they would just copy and paste into a scene, and then they rendered it like this and called it an upcoming PS5 game. And then what people did is they looked at this and they're like, I've never heard of this developer before. They haven't ever done anything before. And then they looked at it and they were like, oh, look at this. Trespasser. Okay, well, see, so the tree goes over the P, which is a hint that this is actually PT sequel. So clearly this is Kojima trying to tell us something, which is funny because it looks terrible and it runs at like 20 frames per second. Like, look at how slow the frame rate is. Look at how ass this looks. From the moment, I was like, even if this is an upcoming Kojima game, it looks like ass. Why is nobody saying this? The whole thing is also, it's not balanced correctly. Basically, what it looks like happened is they render this in HDR with one of the automatic plugins for Unreal Engine, and then they converted it to standard definition for video playback. But because they're idiots and they don't know what they're doing, they didn't color correct it, which I know, and I'm a dumbass YouTuber. I make YouTube videos for a living, and I know that. Right here on this SSD right here that you see is like 5 hours of God of War Ragnarok footage that I'm transcoding. It's captured in HDR. In order to get it playing on YouTube, I have to convert it to standard definition, and then I have to compress it down and then expand it back out so that the whites look white, so that it doesn't seem so flat and lacking in contrast. What they've done here is they just haven't done that last step. They just flattened it into SDR, and so it just looks flat and bland, and it's just terrible. It looks horrible. Look at the fire. Look how stupid that looks. Come on. You guys are thinking this was like a Kojima masterpiece in disguise? Come off of it. Come off it. Q4 2021. That aged tremendously, didn't it? Still has never come out. Nobody knows where it is. I don't think it's ever coming out because it wasn't a thing. Yeah, then look at this like cheap ass gun that they pulled out. Gameplay reveal coming soon. It's just horrible. It looked terrible from the start. But for some reason we have to all pretend as though it's just as valid as anything else on the market. So Kojima was tied up into this. People thought that it was a secretly developed Kojima game. It was a grand conspiracy. I do think he should have come out and said something. I know that some people were like, even if he came out, said, no, that's not me and my team, that's somebody else. We don't know. We have nothing to do with this. I think even then people would be taking his message and breaking it apart and be like, oh, he capitalized this word and we tie that to this word. And he is 52 years old. So if we count forward 52 letters, then loop back and overlap it, then we come to this and then it spells out PT. And if we divide by 4, they would have done anything. But that's not his fault that his fans get into weird, crazy numerology bullshit. So I think he should have come out and just been like, this is not me. Okay, stop it. But basically he was leading his fans along by not commenting on it. And I think that was a little screwy. I think he should have come out and just said, I had nothing to do with this, which is what happened. And I mean, it's the typical Kojima response where it's all about him, which is just a little funny because he's kind of an egomaniac. You see, he says, quote, users just kept sending me pictures of this Hassan. Kojima told the Game Awards producer Jeff Keighley in the episode, according to VGC. Quote, they still send me collages and deepfake images, like 20 a day. It's really quite a nuisance. I have never spoken with Hassan. The game is yet to be released. Yeah. I don't think there's much he can do or say at this point, but if he releases the game, people might understand, so maybe he should just hurry up and release it. And that's it. He's just like, yeah, I have no idea what it is. And it's a nuisance. It was distracting. I'm like, yeah, it was a nuisance for everybody, dude. You should have come out and said, hey, it's not me. Shut up and stop being stupid, guys. Clearly, it's not me. I have nothing to do with this. It looks like ass. You should have just come out and said it, but what are you going to do? What are you gonna do? Not buy Abandoned. Apparently it's still in development. Hassan refuses to acknowledge that the game is kind of a scam and never really existed. And so he says it's still in development, even though nobody's heard about it and it was supposed to release last year. They haven't so much as released gameplay. It's crazy. There's still a couple people out there who think that it's real. Who think that it's actually Kojima. Which is just hilarious.